and welcome to this presentation. And sorry for being a little bit late, but I was in another interview, so there are a lot of things going on at this show. Too many things are going on. So what are we going to talk in this little speech? And I also have a colleague of mine that is close and will show you a little preview of the products. Hopefully we can get connected to the internet because also it's very busy, this wireless connection here. So we're going to talk about key technology from Solgenia. That's the name of our company. I'm not going to bother you with a lot of marketing stuff. I'm going to give you some technical information about this solution and what is used for. And the name of the solution, first of all, is PAWA. That it sounds like power, but it's not. It's an African word. Some people is curious about this name, but it's been helping other people, and this is exactly what this platform is doing. So platform PAWA, it's a patent solution. It's a cloud management platform. The analysts love to define this kind of solution. We love to say more that it's a cloud monetization platform, and we will go into this idea of monetization in a few seconds. It's based clearly on our own HPC development facilities, and it's a web platform. It's a piece of software that helps, no matter if you are an end user or a developer or a system integrator or a cloud provider, meaning a telecommunication company, a data center, someone like that, help you to provision your application. First of all, access to application. If you are clearly in a customer scenario, would sound more like having a store. If you are more in a large enterprise scenario, will be more an enterprise catalog. And at the same time, it's an orchestration platform so that you can easily provision application and offer open API for your application or infrastructure. Sometimes you will hear me using the word application. When I mean application, in the case of PAWA, is everything, because you can run on top of PAWA your business. That means infrastructure as a service, could be platform as a service, could be software as a service, could be IoT as a service. So PAWA at the end help you to meter and collect information for metering and monitor on anything that you want to bring on the cloud. This is, again, I don't want to spend a lot of time on marketing materials, but this is how Gartner Group defined a cloud management platform. And it's pretty large, as you can see, because it goes from virtualization level up to, let's say, lifecycle management, capacity planning, and then more at the top of the pyramid. That is not a pyramid, by the way. It goes also to self-service provisioning, service catalog, chargeback, and billing. And this is exactly where PAWA fits, our platform. It covers all the needs for people that need to get into the self-service provisioning, again, of infrastructure, of applications or IoT devices, and build a model for chargeback, billing, service catalog, and also support external cloud providers. So let's go a little bit more deep. This is all. So I'm sorry, it takes a few seconds. We have something new, so we will see this in a few seconds. Let me go to the new one. Yes, please. I'm sorry. Okay, this is the new one, and it was supposed to be there, not here. Okay, so this is PAWA. PAWA is composed by 4 different engines: store, provisioning, metering, and billing. And they all clearly works together. Helps all the people that I was saying before, cloud providers, cloud developers, users, for no matter if it's in a private cloud or public cloud or hybrid cloud scenario, to bring your offering on the cloud. We are one of the few platforms, actually I believe we are the only one that have this large amount of provider that we support. So you can see that we go from we support the major hypervisor. I mean, you can see there some very easily recognizable brand like VMware, Xen, OpenStack. We're now actively and aggressively working on support container, Docker mostly. And also at the same time, we support cloud provider like Amazon Web Service and Azure. So it means what you can do with our platform. You can design an application, and again, trying to explain, an application in this case is your business model. It could be a software application, So imagine that you are a software developer, or you are a telecommunication company, or you are a large enterprise. Your software as a service part will be, I don't know, SAP, or could be a document management solution, or could be a BI solution. Or you can go to the infrastructure level, so infrastructure as a service, where you want to develop a service that is a backup online, or storage online, or any other things that you have in mind. And at the same time, you can go to IoT, so you can deploy sensors and connect the platform to sensor to collect information for new generation of product, new kind of digital products, where you are going to collect information. Everything starts from the store. So the user experience will be very easy. People can go on the stores, find your offer, and again, could be an application, could be infrastructure, or could be IoT device, and they can easily access the application that you're going to provide to them. What is the platform doing at that point behind to the provisioning engine that supports, as I was saying before, all the connector that you're seeing before? It acts as an orchestration platform. So your cloud offering will be deployed in one of these cloud provider behind. So let's try again. I know sometimes it takes a little bit to understand Power because it's very new as an offering, but imagine that you want to start offer a new, I don't know, application on the cloud, like a document management, or again BI or SAP on the cloud. As soon as you have designed this infrastructure, you can model the application and say, for example, okay, my database layer will run on VMware. My middle tier level will run on, I don't know, whatever you have in mind, Microsoft Hyper-V. My front-end layer will run on Amazon Web Service. And you exactly do all of this in Power, and when a user provisions the application, will be Power taking care of deploying all the needed piece to the various providers that you have selected. But still will be seen from an IT perspective as a single application. What is interesting, by the way, that at any time you can decide to switch one of the providers that you have selected at the beginning. So let's assume for a second that you have deployed this SAP on DB2 on VMware, okay? Internally in your company. Tomorrow you decide to switch that DB2 on Azure. So you just go into Power, select the combo box of the provider on the database, and you switch from, I don't know, VMware, what I said, to Azure, or Amazon, sorry, whatever it is. Just select the combo box, and Power will take the responsibility of moving all that piece of application, that in this case is a DB2 things, from the internal VMware to Azure or whatever you have selected, without the fact that your IT need to know how to interact with the Azure API or with the Amazon API, or with moving an application, in this case, from VMware to Hyper-V. So you don't need to know how to move it from one place to another. Clearly, this is in this section of the orchestration that, yes, is relevant, but not as much, I believe, as the fact that as soon as you have deployed something through Power, then everything will go into the metering and monitoring. Yeah, it's the same. It's a matter of word for us. Metering goes down to the software level. Monitoring, it's the hardware level. But everything that you have deployed through Power, then you can start collecting information. So let's go ahead with the sample I was mentioning before. You have deployed this SAP application, or whoever you have in mind application, or your storage consumption application. As soon as you do it, you can start collecting, we call it counters. So what you want to count, whatever you have in mind. With Power, you define your own counters. So you can count, I don't know, transaction in that DB2 application, or you can count number of users connected at the same time to your middleware, or you can count number of HTTP requests, or through the monitoring, you can start counting consumption of hardware resources. For example, you can count the CPU that is consumed at that point, at that specific time, or you can count the amount of disk that is consumed at that specific time. All those counters will go at the end into the billing engine. The billing engine, sorry for calling it billing, it depends from the scenario where you're using Power. If you're using Power in a large enterprise scenario, then this billing information will not clearly be used for, having someone that pay, but will be more, we call a chargeback, showback scenario. So where you can go into the various departments and show the value of your IT. if you are a service provider or a developer, instead selling something on the cloud, public cloud, private cloud infrastructure again, then in this case will be a real bill for the end user. And the difference is that we are not talking about a CRM billing Zwar-like, say. In this case, we are talking something that goes down to a level where you really can have your application be measured, and then you define the way you are going to build it. That is not a subscription model. You can say, okay, you know what? I'm selling this application, and you pay for the amount of the transaction in that DB2. You are paying this SAP for number of users that do transaction plus 2 cents per transaction. So this is the new way that Power is helping to define a new business model. And you can clearly apply this to sensor. So if you are an IoT developer or an IoT provider or someone that have manufacturing and you are creating the next generation of your product, digital products, then in this case, Power can collect information from the sensor. We also have open API, so Power can be connected to anything that you have in mind. As soon as you connect this information to the sensor, you can define a new pricing strategy for your digital product. Just giving you a strange example, if you put the sensor in the shoes and you start measuring step, you can define a model where you're going to sell the shoes by steps, not with a single price. That's something that you can do through Power. This is a little bit of animation on how it works, but you see, as I was saying, that there are 2 levels in Power. The orchestration layer that goes to the app provisioning and to the hardware provisioning. Clearly, Power can provision not only on hypervisor or cloud provider, but also on bare metal. I don't know how many of you now are still provisioning on bare metal, but that's support too. And at the same time on app provisioning. All information are collected to these 2 monitors, transaction monitor. In this case, again, transaction is something that you define, okay? And resource monitor, everything goes into the metering and transform into the billing. Clearly, we have connectors. The real bill at the end can go into your ERP CRM, so if you are a large company and you want to collect this information, or it can go, if you are a telecommunication company, into more a BSS, OSS. Well, what's playing? Okay, this is a little bit more detail about the provisioning, so I will give you a little bit less. What is Harsha? I don't know what is my colleague. I want him to give you a real view of the products. Oh, here is he coming. Okay, the last 5 minutes will be really going to the product. So provisioning, as I was saying, it's completely open. So you can provision your idea. This is exactly what Power can do. Clearly, your ideas should be digital. We are not provisioning an idea that are not digital. So it could be a software infrastructure. If you want, let's say, build your own Amazon offering, Power can help you to do that. Because thanks to the Open API, as soon as you deploy Power, if you are a data center provider, then you can start offering your infrastructure online so that people can go to the stores and they will configure by themselves the amount of storage that they are going to purchase, the amount of whatever, CPU that they want to purchase, and this will be all deployed by Power provisioning. And this will activate the user. So as soon as you activate, clearly it starts the counter. So you start obtaining measurement from the various parameters. What is interesting in Power that I hope Arsha will have the time to show is that it's you defining the parameters. So what the user will see in the configuration space of the store is exactly the parameters that you have defined on the backend. So again, a little bit of sample usually helps a lot. Let's go back to the SAP example that I was using before. So if, for example, if you are offering this application as a consumption model, you can define as a counters in your SAP, as I was saying before, transaction in the database. And you will define also, I don't know, the amount of CPU, or the amount of disk, or whatever you have in mind, including the electricity that cluster where SAP is running is consuming at that time. And people will see all those counters exactly in the configuration space or in their portal, because they can track at any time the consumption of the resources. And this is happened thanks to the metering. Well, as I was said before, billing is clearly, the key method for converting all those units. Power works on, we call the virtual units. So you define for each counters the units that you want to measure, because you may have, let's say, something more relevant than other things. For example, in this case, your CPU may be more relevant than the disk. So these virtual units let you define how much really in the bill at the end will be for the user, or the chargeback or showback. So for example, for you, the amount of time that CPU is consumed may be more relevant than the disk. And the store and the catalog, I just spoke about this. So Power clearly address various industry. Let's say that, as I said before, as I mentioned, there are two key industry where Power is very useful. Large enterprise, so people that really run on large data center, no matter if it's internal or is external. So in this case, if you're running in your own data center, or if you use some external cloud provider, including Azure and Amazon, as I was saying, and we're working to support more. Or it's very useful in industry where you really sell cloud applications. So if you are a system integrator, if you are a service provider, or if you are an ISV, because the other point is that ISV, I mean a software developer. So Power can help you to bring your application online in seconds, and you will be able to offer your application to customer in a few seconds. So I think I want to leave the last few minutes not even talking about a business case. This is a business case of software online, but invite my colleague Harsha, that was supposed to be here, on the stage, and to give you a little preview of the demo. In the meantime, that he prepared for if you have question, I can take any question.
Already have it. Where is the slash?
.com then.
All right, thank you. All right, hi all, I'm Harsha. I'm the sales engineer, so I'm just going to do a 2-minute quick demo of, sorry, I'm speaking loud, a 2-minute demo of how the solution is going to work. So let me actually show you a store which we currently use. It's called store. So this is an online store. We offer our own SaaS applications from Solgenia in the store. We have applications for, it's taking a while to load. We have applications for document management, unified communications, and a CRM. So imagine this as any other SaaS application, any other software application, where we are helping you build a store. That will be the first module of Power, helping you build a store, and you're taking all your software applications on the store live. So the second I click on any one of the applications and I want to configure it, that's actually where the Power is coming into place. The platform as a service is coming into place. Once I select an application on the store, it's going to help me actually provision this application. I can do it from any one of the cloud providers. So this can be Amazon, it can be Azure, or any other party, right? That's where the provisioning is happening. And we are coding it to do an auto provisioning. So instead of a manual technician going and provisioning an application each time, this is all happening through an automation layer. And again, for the store, if I want to go and make changes to the catalog, like all the offerings which you see up here, let me go back. all the offerings which you see up here for this solutions, they are all at the back end of Power. So any coding, even if I want to go and modify the code for any one of the applications, it can all be done through this web interface of Power. It's just a few lines of code, so you can give me an application for storage, for backup, or any banking application, teleco application. This is all going at the back end. Yeah. So then followed by the store, it's going to be the provisioning module, which I was just speaking about. So this can be, we have open integration, so we completely integrate with any third parties like Azure, AWS, so on and so forth. And then once the provision has been complete, we come with the concept of metering the usage of this application. This can be metering the physical usage. So for example, I'm deploying a software application on a server from AWS, and I want to go and measure the usage of the specific server. I can just do it right from Power, or I can even measure the usage of the specific software application. It's taking a while to load, but again, it's okay. So this is the metering entities. I'm going to measure the current usage of the live applications we have on our store. And by the way, this is all in production. This is not a dev environment. This is all in production. We have customers live using it. I would say about 500 customers who are using the software applications. And these people are from Europe. They are from States, Canada, and so on and so forth. This is where I'm going to get this is where I'm going to get a chart of the current usage of these applications. I'm not sure. So this is the current usage. It's showing me the usage based on the memory usage of these applications from different time zones and different dates. Followed by that, we also can do monitoring. So this system can be used for data centers, especially when there are several servers connected with different OS on top of it. For example, you're going to see a few Windows, and so on and so forth. You're supposed to see Linux too, but again, a few examples of different operating systems running on servers, and you're also going to see the live status of it. A few of them up, down, so on and so forth. And even if you want to power up a server or change the configurations of it, it's completely doable from Power. And last but not the least, billing. We give complete opportunity for this companies, whoever is using Power, to set up their own billing rules. So this can be consumption billing or subscription billing. For example, if I decide all the software applications, I want to bill my users based on the consumption, then I'm setting certain parameters saying that anyone using this application from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., bill them X amount of money. Anyone using it after 5 p.m., which is usually off-peak, then I'm just billing them half the price of the regular business counters. Or I can also do this based on the subscription base. I can just do a monthly subscription, or I can do an yearly subscription. So that's the overall high-level 30,000 feet overview of Power. It comes with a store, helps you create a store in the first place, followed by provisioning these applications on any one of the providers as they come with Open API, and then help you meter these applications and finally bill based on the business parameters. All right, if you have more questions, we will be available at store 515. The store name is Power. We'll be more than happy to help you with information. Thank you for attending, guys.
If you have any question, thank you for joining us.